1. Hi, everyone. Today, we're meeting with Robert Rubenstein, chairman and founder of TBLI Group from Amsterdam. Thank you kindly, dear Robert, for joining us today and allowing to interview you. Please share your story. How did you become a finance professional?
Yeah, how did I get into finance? Actually, I don't have any financial background, but fortunately, the financial sector are just a very predictable group of alpha males who kind of all run up the hill and off the cliff and overpaid by a factor of 4 and underperformed by a factor of 4. So I started the first bicycle magazine in the Netherlands, and that was a big financial and spiritual success. And the other 2 magazines were just spiritual successes and financial failures. But the last one was a management magazine on sustainability in '95. And when the investors pulled the plug while we were nearly break even, I still wanted to create an economy based on well-being. And I figured, well, how can I achieve that with no resources? So I looked at, well, I need to get the business community on my side. And to do that, they have to first feel excruciating pain that the direction they're going is too painful for them to endure. So I figured, okay, there are 3 pain buttons: finance, personnel, reputation. Which one could I influence with no money and no resources and no network? So I tried teaching MBA students to, if you want to change companies, when the company recruits you, interview the recruiter and see if they align with your values, and refuse to work for them if they don't. Then you have power. You can't change anything once you're hired because you have no power then, but you have power when they want you. Unfortunately, almost all the students didn't do that, and they just took jobs they didn't like, McKinsey, A.T. Kearney, et cetera, to pay their student loans. And I looked at reputation, complex to influence with no resources, even for large NGOs. And then I looked at finance, and I looked at who had all the money in 1997, 98. And I looked at the largest, pension fund, the Japanese government pension fund, and then AXA and Allianz and all the big institutional investors. And I added up the top 100. How much assets did they have, direct or indirect? And I figured, wow, that's like a quarter or a third of the assets at the time that they control, direct or indirect. So I figured I only have to convince 100 guys, 100 CIOs. So that was the reason for doing what we were doing, of creating these capacity building, these learning journeys, these events to bring people together to learn from each other and to educate them about ESG and impact. So I didn't have a financial background. I always used to think the financial sector must be unbelievably brilliant because they have access to so much information and they pay a lot for that. But then I realized, no, they're not that brilliant. They make a lot of mistakes. And it's not that hard to get behavioral change. So the challenge was always access. The more money, like Bronfman in Canada doesn't have a sign on his house, "Hi, Tim and Arthur, come visit me. I have lots of money." So they're isolated. And that was always our challenge. Not the convincing. It was very easy because we were focused on pragmatic things, teaching investors how can they achieve their targets and have a social environmental added value. And if you ask anyone, Arthur, do you want a financial return with a social environmental added value? No one will say to you, "Oh no, Arthur, I want all my money to make life miserable for everybody, and I'm working at that 24/7." So we always take a pragmatic approach, not the moral imperative, because the financial sector are compensated for short-term behavior. They're hunters. And what we were doing is trying to teach farming to the hunters. It takes time. So over the 25 years or close to 30, if you consider before TBLI, we have changed the mindset of many, many people and built an ecosystem. And it's nice to see that at least people are talking more about impact investing, not necessarily doing it, but they're at least talking about it, where before they wouldn't even talk about it. So that's kind of my journey in there. I didn't have a financial background. I studied history and politics. I wanted to be the assistant district attorney for organized crime in New York. That was my goal, or an actor, one of the two.
Ah,
You know,
I like this one a lot.
it was either or both, because often they're acting anyway. So that was the kind of the goal. But I didn't want to go to law school for another 3 years. So after I finished university, I just left and went traveling, and that led me to various things and led me to what my bliss or what I enjoy doing now.
This is great. Thank you so much. And industry knows you. You are a respected sustainability advocate, a matchmaking expert. And let me ask you a question. Are there any particular trends these days in the networking industry? In other words, what's the most effective and efficient way to matchmake companies and people in 2021?
We found your system, not because you invited me. We looked at various systems, and Smart Match was a very good, efficient, effective system for matchmaking. The challenge, you create a great system that we can use and import and upload and edit, and you're very flexible. And if we want, can you make an application addition that makes fresh coffee in the morning and wakes me up? You'll probably make it for me, because you're very, very helpful in adapting to the client's needs. The challenge, the trend is everybody that has come through TBLI over the years, the main thing they always wanted is introductions and connections and networking. That's what they pretended, oh, I want to learn. As long as I'm learning to how to get clients for business. So it was initially, there was a bit of interest in education, but at the moment, particularly in the financial sector, the only thing that people who work in the financial sector, they have to bring in assets under management clients. So the need and the hunger, we get it every day. People are asking, hey, I have this, can you connect me with that? And that's why, actually, it was a guy I know who built the app for the Apple Store. He was a big shot at Apple, and he left. And he always said to me, you should build a dating engine. You should, that's what you do. People want to be connected to other people for investments, not necessarily for sex or that. I mean, we jokingly called, what you guys have, we call it, the Tinder for impact investing, with a different kind of happy ending. But people want to meet others, but it's not only investees looking to meet investors, or investors looking to meet investees. It's also asset owners, like family offices, looking to meet other family offices. That's why they go to these, these events. So the hunger for meeting others, building community, learning from others, finding investors of quality, kind of pre-qualified people, is very high. The challenge now, because most people are not organized, most people don't use a CRM. They're using, notes and a book and Apple contacts on their phone, and then WhatsApp, and they don't have a CRM system, so they don't organize themselves. So the challenge now is not the connecting, it's getting their attention. It's almost become to almost an absurd, crazy level that you have to write someone. Could be your sister, could be your relative. You have to write them 5, 8, 10 times. And then they respond the last time and they'll say, hey, Arthur, what's up? They didn't see all
That's
of the
so
other
true.
outreach. So finding the right, I think maybe the timing now is difficult because people are so overwhelmed. Maybe it's different for dating engine because people really want to meet. They're so isolated, they want to meet somebody. But we find that the challenge now is not the matchmaking works great, and it's very efficient and very effective. the challenge is getting people to respond, whether it's a WhatsApp or text or phone call. And I used to think we're doing it wrong. I have a friend or a guy I know who does the same thing, but he does it old school. He calls everybody. So he claims, I have 40,000 investors in my network. And he's got 40 analysts who just call all of their investors twice a year to find out, hey, Tim, how's it going? What are you looking at now? So they get paid to make the introduction. I thought, wow, he must be incredibly more successful. He doesn't email, he doesn't text, he doesn't WhatsApp, he doesn't Signal, he calls them. And then I sent him a couple of clients and none of them raised any money with him. So then I thought, hey, wait a minute, it's not the process, it's the network you have. Do they actually trust you, particularly family offices? Do you have their attention, their trust? So that's our challenge now is how do we get their attention, particularly in this space of time, whether it's, Thanksgiving or, there's always a holiday, but it seems COVID has overwhelmed the mailbox and the WhatsApp box, that people are getting invited to hundreds and hundreds of shitty webinars, and they're just kind of overwhelmed. So getting through is a challenge, but
they have a Zoom
the
fatigue.
hunger for networking is never been greater.
Yeah, people have Zoom fatigues nowadays. Like
Yeah,
this.
it's and Sam and I were thinking, what the hell's going on? Because we're doing our webinar, our weekly masterclass are even better than we've ever done. We're adding the virtual networking, shorter, not for an hour for the networking. We're doing it like, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of networking. People love it. It's great. But the number of people signing up is far lower. But the quality is far better.
Is better, right? And maybe that's the way to do it.
Are telling me that. So
exactly, I can confirm with you on this, Robert. It's not really nowadays. I think it's not really the quantity matters, but the quality.
Yeah, yeah. And so we'll get through this, and maybe after the new year, people will still want that. But the networking demand is very high, very, very high, and we tried, this is a technical tip for you. You can stop the recording now if you don't want people to hear this. Giving people access in the portal doesn't help because they don't understand how to use it.
They don't have time to use it either.
Yeah, we have to spend a lot of time. So they basically still want the clients. Can you just send me an Excel list with the first name, last name, email, and the name of the company? So I can send them the email, first name, last name, but I can't get the company in there yet because it's still, I think it's on the list of things to do. Okay. Because for some reason, they're still very old school. They still want to look at an Excel sheet. And we don't use the Excel sheet, we use SmartMatch. Yeah. But we gave them access to the portal, and I says, I don't understand this. Can you walk me through this? And it says it's pretty straightforward. You're only looking at the people and the level, but
they're used to their own ways, spreadsheets and reports.
I know.
That's clear. We're trying to do a Tinder for for you, and they're like, we want Excel, we don't want we want
I know it's like crazy, dude. It's easier,
right? No, but they are not used to. They're like, okay, no, in our mind this is another industry, we want the Excel sheet. It's gonna take some time and maybe generation change. I don't know.
I don't know. And
we definitely can improve that.
These are not old people.
But they're financially trained, right? So they're trained to look at the data in a certain way, right?
Correct.
When it comes to business,
they're transactional. They're not relationship people,
right? Absolutely. It's the kind of people that invest, right? They need to look at metrics, standards.
But so I think that's really our challenge, is getting people to look whether, text, WhatsApp. I'm not really that convinced. I was shocked when the guy with the 40,000 people and the 40 analysts didn't, it was so bad that the fund that we sent them gave up on doing the fund. They said, no, we're done. It was a Russian woman, very nice woman. And she said, no, we didn't get anywhere. The other one was in Asia. So I thought, so it's really not the process of calling or this and that. It's having the right people, having less.
And maybe focusing on something.
Yeah, we're much more focused because, I told you we have about 20,000 investment allocated. We're not going to import those 20,000, maybe in 5 years, but no, we're doing it maybe 25 or 50 good relationships a week. We're doing very slow and going through that and then coding them properly, and that they're also, the email is up to date. People die and move and quit. So
that's exactly the whole point of matchmaking, in my opinion. It's very traditional matchmaking versus like when you mentioned about dating industry, it's a wonderful industry to observe for these specific reasons. You have this huge dating apps with millions of people sign up.
Right.
So you have a lot of volume there, swiping left, right. But they're still not happy. They're still, many of them don't get anywhere. So I'm talking about the volume. That's exactly, it's a parallel.
One of your biggest fans, actually, you're also one of his biggest fans, actually met his girlfriend through a dating app. Sam. It was Bumble, I think it was, and he was. It was really weird because he was with us traveling through Hong Kong, and he didn't want to go on the date. He wanted to cancel it, and now they've been like, practically husband and wife, even though they're not married, closer than anything. So it can work.
It does work. No, it does work. It's just a question of time. Like, you have to spend time. You have to swipe a lot left and right, and there's a certain degree of risk for certain people, especially I think on a female side, because it's you go out to a date, you not always sure what's going to be the the end result of that date, where it's going to go. So I hear there's a lot of spamming and a lot of like that security issues there. So matchmakers take away a lot of that. Like, if you are focusing on a small niche target audience, you can always achieve more results and better quality results overall. I think that's what you're doing.
Yeah, but, it's. I mean, I was very gung ho of let's get to 20,000 as quickly as possible, and you kept pushing me back, and you were right. And then we slowed it down, and now every week or every 2 weeks, a small number that we know is accurate and that it's easy for us to process, because we process each one, and then use that for the selection. So no, it works well, and this Zoom fatigue will pass with time, or people will get used to it and organize themselves, hopefully a bit better. And next year we still want to do what we originally said to you about opening the system up for everyone to sign up, but they can then decide, I want 5 or 10 or 25 introductions, and they pay that, because it's not only the entrepreneurs looking for money or the fund managers looking for money. It's also the family offices looking to meet other family offices. We get that a lot, and this will allow them, and people, will be we will be willing to pay. We were even asked by the European Investment Fund to help them raise money because they want to open up their funds, because they know we have a good network. So no,
it's an interesting point though
on this.
It's an interesting point you just raised, Robert. I have this question Arthur gave me to ask today, and that basically is the question answered right there. For you were like saying about the things that you're looking forward to. So we have this feature called member community.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you want to actually connect the family offices between each other. This is
I'll give them the opportunity
networking.
to reach out either through an introduction, preferably themselves, because doing it the way we're doing it now, curating each one and doing the introduction for them, you can imagine you have limitations in how many you can handle.
Yeah.
You know, so, but allowing people to use it themselves and connecting with what they want, and they can always ask us, what do you think of this? Allows us to scale.
Well, that's the beauty of Smart Matchup in that sense, that you can interject, you can facilitate those connections inside of the software community anyway. And I imagine if it's more for networking than for actual investment, if it's just networking between the offices, this can be done like on a do-it-yourself basis.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
It's sometimes quite strange where like a huge family office, like the family office of, I don't know, Carrefour, you know, the big retail supermarket, asks me, can you introduce me to so-and-so from another big family office? And I kind of look at them and I say, yeah, but you're Carrefour, big family office, just pick up the phone. And they don't feel comfortable with that. They want someone to make the introduction, even if it's, you know, it's like a paragraph intro, and then it's okay.
Yeah, it's still deeply embedded, I think, in the psychology of business people, and just generally people. Whether you go to accountant, you want to be introduced to accountant, right? You don't want to just go ahead and
no, for sure.
Or
relationships,
or dentist for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just shooting, you know.
No, for sure. And so I mean, we've always had people ask us, can you introduce us, whether at our conference face to face or, you know, virtual. I say, sure, you know, I'm happy to do that. And with Smart Match now, we can monetize that process in a more effective way. And you're giving all of the tools to allow that to be done, you know, quickly. What important for people using it in the way that we're using it. I'm not using it for making dates for people. You need to have the discipline to use it very structurally. Otherwise, you know, it says, oh, let's make it a meeting, you know, where we discuss the due diligence. You don't put it in the system, you have no history of it. You have it on your calendar, but you don't have it here because you're using Google Meet or Zoom outside. So you're creating a different calendar. It would be, you know, if it's all in there, maybe that's something for the future for you guys. You'd have probably, people would be more used to using it, you know, more structured. At the moment, you're using 2 or 3 different systems. Your offline CRM to plan your calendar, then your Zoom calendar or your Google Meet, and then you got to go back. So if you're able to do that, you know, even LinkedIn now has video conferencing.
We're going to be actually embedding video conferencing right into Smart Matchup.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. And
a Google Calendar too, as well.
Okay, cool.
Etc. It's definitely good, but you know, on the other side, in terms of the product management, it's almost impossible to really do everything nowadays.
No,
everything
of course.
In one app, it's just a daunting task. I think it's
we notice
utopian.
That some people who work at certain companies, they won't allow them to use anything but Microsoft Meetings.
Right.
Even though,
yeah, but they can install that kind of process in their place. I get it.
Yeah, so they
but
as
soon as you're out of that structure, people just run all over the place.
Yeah.
One of them is, I like Zoom, I hate Zoom, I like this, that, Google Meet, then it's just like all over the place, you know.
Yeah, I mean, people are very happy when we do our weekly master class with Run the World, because it's just, you know, they don't need a separate app, it works, and the networking works. But they're always surprised. Oh, how does this work? I'm only used to Zoom or Google Meet or Microsoft Team meetings. So people are just used to what they're allowed to use. So we're just trying to, for ourselves, maintain the discipline of putting everything in SmartMatch, so we
Yeah.
can show, later when the reporting is a little bit flexible, we can show these are all of the introductions we've made, and this is the status here, and these are the meetings, that you wanted, or just give them the link within SmartMatch to see that.
And that's
They
the whole
always see that-
idea behind CRM, customer relationship management. I mean, if
Yeah,
you think about
exactly.
it, it's what it is about. But yes, it takes a little bit of legwork.
Yeah. But I mean, we're used to it because we've been using the Canadian offline CRM Daylight
Right,
for
right.
forever. We couldn't do all the stuff that we're doing, but now, because SmartMatch is more up to date, because we had 35,000 people, and it's very hard to keep that constantly up to date because we're not mailing it from them. And we have a mailing system. We have 42,000 people getting our weekly.
What are you using
So,
for mailing system?
yeah, I was very surprised. I wasn't happy with the various systems I had. MailChimp I found very expensive after a while.
Yeah.
Then Sendinblue, then Pabbly, and Pabbly was okay, but very inflexible. You're not allowed to edit anybody.
Mm.
You can
That's
only
crazy.
delete them and add.
Wow.
So, and then I asked around on Fiverr, does anybody, have a solution? This guy said, oh, I'll make a virtual mail server for you. And you won't have to pay anything. You won't have to pay for mail delivery. I said, how's that possible? So I said, no, I set up the mail server here and you use MailWiz, you get a subscription, and you don't pay every month per mail that you send. I don't believe it. So he set it up, and it's true. It works perfectly. You have your virtual mail server, and that's what we've been doing. And that works really, really well, and it's very flexible and easy, and
And how's deliverability?
very good. Really, I mean, he warned me very much in the beginning. They're creating a new IP address for you,
Right.
which means you got to warm it up. And Sendinblue told me you need your own IP address. So I said, okay, I'll buy that. After one mail, they shut me down. He says, yeah, you're getting too many bounce backs. Yeah, you get bounce backs with the new IP address. You have to warm it up. So he told me how to warm it up. He gave me the list, and every day I increased, by 10 and 5 and that. I went through that whole warming up process and sent to the people who were blocking it that these are people who subscribe. So you have to go through that process, and now it's fine.
It's quite
fine.
sensitive. We deal with this as well because, as you know, you can send emails from SmartMatch app as well, and you can send them in bulk.
Yeah.
And people use that and they get bounces, and then it affects our IP. Then we have to deal with all that.
That's why we use this, because we can see exactly who blocked, who was bounced back, or who was considered spam, and why was that, and then write the letter to them. So we do that process to make sure that we have a high response rate, and gone through all of that. So that's good. And then we're going to start a campaign to get more people to sign up for the weekly. I'm not very good at that whole Google Analytics stuff. I just, I'm not good at
Robert,
that. So,
we can't be good at everything. What I appreciate about you, and I think that we had the script here today. I mean, we went way off the script. Arthur, God bless you.
Arthur, you got to dive in here and get us back on script.
It's too late. It's impossible.
It's perfect.
and it's not even needed. I gotta tell.
It's natural and it's priceless.
Exactly. I think that I just want to, I think we're gonna have to wrap up soon. But obviously, our visitors already understand that. Robert, you're using the system.
Tim, you disconnected from voice.
Oh yeah, and now?
Loud and clear.
Obviously, just to clarify for our investors, just to make sure if anybody missed it, Robert is matching investors in a sustainability sector, pragmatic approach. He said everything, so there's really no reason for me to repeat all of that. But I do want to say that what I appreciate is your events I always learn something from your events. This next event you're doing with Birgit Marie Leoden, I'm looking forward to that.
She's amazing, amazing.
How to
But
make ocean industries emission free and regenerate life. Like you said today, you know, I mean, when you educate financial professionals, financial industry about you know, sustainability and investing into that, nobody can say no to this. Who can ever say no to saving ocean? Who doesn't like to walk on the ocean?
And breathe fresh air
on a vacation. Who wants to lose that? I don't. Who wants to lose the opportunity to go there and see, you know, see an ocean and smell the ocean and
if you
walk
haven't
the
seen
sunset,
the
you know?
talk, if you haven't seen the talk from yesterday with Richard Barrett, it's on YouTube if you missed it, or you can just log into the replay. He's been doing for 30 years social audits and changing organization to bring out the best of everyone. Brilliant guy.
Academy of the Advancement of Human Values.
Wonderful,
wonderful. This is what I love, because you somehow attract, well, not somehow, we know why. It's a
mastery.
It's a dedication. It's a commitment, and it's
my blackmail photos of them coming out of prostitutes.
It's no wonder why you attract people like that. Like every single time, I mean, I'm just amazed to see the kind of people you attract and what they do. And what I appreciate about you personally is the depth of experience generally with life. Like you said, I never planned to go in finance world, but you ended up in the finance world. And I have to say one thing: it's good for finance world that you did that, and that they need that. Like you said, the rule of 4 and 4, 4 times underpaid, 4 times. It's every time we meet, you say something, you make me laugh every time. It's just those gems, you know. So I just want to say, guys, whoever is listening to this, go to Robert's website, learn what they do, join the journey, join the fight for the planet.
Thank you.
For the sustainability. I can't say how much I cannot say enough how much I respect what you're doing, and I respect you, how much I learned from you, human values, business acumen, you know. So I just am very, very proud to be here today with you and interviewing you. And I just want to say that anytime, anywhere, like the mission that you have, I'm part of it, and I will be part of it as far as I know.
Thank you so much. That's very kind. That's very, very kind of you, Tim and Arthur. You guys are doing a really spectacular, fantastic job. Don't take external money if you can avoid it.
Right.
Follow your bliss and just, you know, replicate MailChimp and Spanx, and they did it all on a bootstrap. And if you can, it's the best way, because you don't have to waste any time on investor relations.
Thank you for reconfirming. Thank you for just reminding about simple things that sometimes it's so easy to get, you know, derailed. Robert, I'm blessed to know you, to be part of your network. And again, guys, please go check the website around the world and join the meetings and learn and be part of it. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. And if you send me the link, we'll push that out through our network also.
Absolutely.
For the video, I mean.
That will be so awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you.
And let's hope there's no war in Ukraine.
God bless. Yes, we have a little situation, but God's with us. Who can be against us?
Yeah. We used to both stay safe and stay sane, and we'll speak soon.
Yes, this last one, stay sane. Yes. Thank you. Arthur, thank you for organizing it. Yeah, looking forward to seeing this video up there in mysterious cloud
viral
world.
And also congratulations on finishing school.
Sir, yes, sir. Next level is getting
started. Now you're only unemployed.
4 more years of PhD studies.
Oh my God, no. Okay, I'm not an academic nerd. My wife did 2 PhDs.
Oh my God, that's a lot of work. That's too much work for me too.
I know. You stay well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Take it easy.
Have a
Thanks
great
lot, Jim
weekend
and
ahead.
Arthur. Stay well. Bye-bye.
Rock and roll.
Bye-bye.
Bye.